Hi, my name is David Long. Welcome back to my video series. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about criminal law and Bitcoin. There's been a number of cases in the news lately regarding Bitcoin and the criminal law. Several weeks ago, Charlie Shrem, who is a very well-known person in the Bitcoin community, former Bitcoin Foundation member, board member, and CEO of an exchange called BitInstant out of New York, was pled guilty to aiding and abetting the operation of an illegal money services business in connection with a larger prosecution. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison in federal court in New York, and more recently, Ross Ulbricht, also known as Dread Pirate Roberts, the operator of the Silk Road website, was convicted after trial in federal district court in New York in a narcotics and money laundering conspiracy, and faces 40 years to life in prison. So those two things have kind of been in the news lately. Who investigates money laundering as it pertains to virtual currencies such as Bitcoin? Well, there's a number of institutions out there focusing, if not full-time, probably not full-time, because the US dollar keeps law enforcement and money laundering investigators plenty busy. But there are agencies out there that do look at Bitcoin. The U.S. Attorney's Office, which is part of the U.S. Department of Justice, prosecutes on the federal level cases involving money laundering and virtual currencies, as witnessed by the Charlie Shrem case and the Ross Ulbricht case. The U.S. Attorney's Office, headed by Preet Bharara in New York City, the Southern District of New York, prosecuted that case. In addition, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Agency, which is part of the U.S. Department of Treasury, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, which is part of the U.S. Department of Treasury, also known as FinCEN, is an enforcement and has a regulatory mandate as well, as far as looking at money laundering cases. Of course, we have the FBI out there looking at money laundering. We have the IRS. We also have various state agencies that are concerned on a regulatory basis with Bitcoin and anti-money laundering compliance, such as New York State. The New York State Department of Financial Services recently came out with a second draft document as far as regulating virtual currencies, called the so-called bit licenses, which has not been come out in its final adopted form as of yet. That should be relatively soon. And other state agencies also regulate certain Bitcoin businesses, such as exchanges, as money services businesses as well. Of course, there's state law enforcement agencies and local law enforcement agencies probably to a much lesser extent that investigate money laundering cases, and probably even fewer at this point that would be out there investigating virtual currency or digital currency type money laundering cases. So that's a primer on who's out there looking, and as far as the regulatory scheme is concerned right now, that's really up in the air. The Commodities Futures Trading Commission is out there. The SEC is out there looking at Bitcoin, but there's nothing firm in those areas yet. So there's more to come and more to talk about. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.